I'm Margaret in Windsor, and I have to use the name Peggy Ann Dempsey Childers. I married at Childers. I was kidnapped in 1941 from Buckingham Palace and taken to Moulton, Alabama, and given the name of a twin that was dead. They were illegitimate, born illegitimate. Lionel Dempsey wasn't married. Later in '83, when I was in a political campaign right after then and flown out to Larry Flint's, I found that about my kidnapping and real name it that both twins, Carl and Peggy, had been killed by their mother, and the family covered it up. I'm not going to get into the horror that I grew up in, but I did a medical malpractice book, MD, A License to Kill, in '78 when Larry Flint was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia. I use that because usually I put out evidence and everything and information, which does no good. I'm going to show this real quick. This is Scott Peterson and Lacey. You probably can't tell, but it's on NBC. I believe it's Dateline tonight, and tonight's the 21st of April 2017. And since my videos are getting knocked off here the last month or so, I'm just going to make this short because it's been going on a long time. Scott Peterson is on death row, and you have the media saying he's got a cushiony, they're saying it now, cushiony on death row. The man didn't commit a crime, and I meant to get something else, the name, because the years have gone by and I've forgotten some of it. I will say this, that in 2000, when was it she was killed? It was Christmas Eve. You're getting into patterns that I've told you that once, if you got to bring it before the public, before a court, to get people to listen, they tune it out. It's a murder weapon, mind control is. But the ones I spoke of, I wrote that book, and I was almost killed on April Fool's Day of '80, even with a letter from the FBI, ongoing investigation, national security involved. And I was illegally taken across the state line, and in that condition, I worked for Fred Simpson, the district attorney in Huntsville, Alabama, Madison County. So I don't want to give too much information because I'm on YouTube. I've had my phone stolen. I've gotten 2 YouTube accounts. I can't get one of them back. And I'm on Facebook and Google+. Now, Lacey Peterson's murder was done in patterns. Scott Peterson, of course, Scott and Mark are my children's name, and in the book I wrote about them some, and Mark's name was Christopher, Scott's name was Ross. So it gets into, I was kidnapped from Buckingham Palace, and I want to mention this in case any of this is ever told. There was a murder that happened. I met him briefly, our paths crossed briefly during the campaign in Atlanta, Georgia in '83 when I ran for Congress and was flown out to Larry Flint's home in Bel Air. He helped support me in the campaign. I was out there twice. And I'd written the book and had antifreeze put in me. I should have died because this is April Fool joke. You can kidnap me and take down my dad, Edward VIII, and have him marrying Wallace Warfield Simpson, an imposter, and becoming the Duke and Duchess of Windsor, which was a lie. And the imposter went on to become, well, he was a killer, the governor of Bermuda. And everybody thought that was my father. Most people did, his bad behavior. My father, when he was king and when he abdicated, was forced to, he was married to my mom. He stayed married to my mom till they died, and that was after October of '86 sometime. The double died in '72. Now, to give you background on it, my mom's Claudia Ruth O'Keefe Windsor. She's the real queen mom. And my dad had an addendum that made me Victoria II, heir to the British crown, the day I was born, when I took my first breath. And they kidnapped me in '41. Part of my own family, my uncle George, the illegal George VI, the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, Bilderbergers, Joe Kennedy, and his was ambassador by Roosevelt, who was a Jew, President Roosevelt. So you got all these people involved, and then the Windsor files were burned by Churchill. So you got a whole mess that's going on, the overthrow of the British government by the United States and the Illuminati or the Freemasons, the Jews. So they kidnapped me. And anyway, I started doing the book, and I found out later about my kidnapping, and nobody doubts that here. And I put all this up on video. A friend, I hope he still is, I don't know. I don't know, maybe they got to him, but he got me the phone back in, I bought the first one in 2012, and he bought me one August the 4th of 2013 to put all this up, because I can't get an attorney. And it boils down to who I am, what they did to my father, and the use of mind control to murder, and you can cure an illness or create it, or you can program an army. But these were deliberately done in patterns. The Scott Peterson can be proven too. You got to get it before a court of law and somebody to listen to it and ask the right questions. They were done in patterns, like the Virginia Tech next door to me here, the 33 that were killed, and he ended up killing himself, the person that did the shooting, but he was programmed to shoot. The agency or person doing the program is the person that pulls the trigger or the knife or whatever is used, a car going off or running people down in the middle of the street and killing them, etc. It's unlimited, the use of the type murder it does. But the Scott Peterson, he ended up getting Mark Garrigus, who I think is an honest man, Garrigus and Garrigus, out in Los Angeles. And I believe he's a close friend of Larry Flint and maybe represented Flint some. Anyway, I had a letter from them, and I posted that, oddly enough, the other day. And here they've got this on NBC, and believe me, NBC and all of them know it. The local media knows it. Atlanta, Huntsville, it's on YouTube. They've closed their eyes, ears, and everything to it because it would lead back to me and the takedown of my father and the takedown of Great Britain by the Illuminati, the Freemasons. I just want to give you a couple of things, not the fact that Mark Garrigus, his name is Mark, and Scott Peterson is his name Scott, but also in it is the body of Connor, okay, that's the name it goes in the pattern, was found just off San Francisco Bay shoreline, I believe, Richmond Point. Richmond, Virginia is the capital of Virginia, and that's where Larry Flint's he furnished me a car. It was a long time ago. I haven't seen him since. But his plane couldn't fly into Roanoke, where I live, and where he was in the POF building, federal building, being sued by Reverend Jerry Falwell of Liberty University in Lynchburg here. Mr. Flint, he showed me that parody when I was out there, and I didn't know why he showed it to me. I knew Mr. Flint had been shot and his attorney killed, and they were done in patterns. And here he is helping me in a campaign in '83, and he showed me the parody. So anyway, Richmond's where he parked his plane. It's also the capital of Virginia. Now then, there's more to this one. Amber is in the Amber Alert, which is the girls kidnapped, and that's the alert that's sent out now. It was named after Amber someone, but this Amber Fry's name, Amber, fits into all this, the mind control murders and Scott Peterson being programmed. So, without going further, I meant to look it up. Right after then, I was coming back from LA because I went out there and I emailed and I talked indirectly with Martin Garagos, a couple of his people, and then his investigator called me in about December of 2010, I believe, and his name, I believe, was Scott Ross, which I don't know if it's his real name, but it tells me that they knew about my book and everything. And then the Connor, as in Mike Connors and Peggy, that was a TV series. And maybe you won't put it together, you'd have to hear it, and people tune it out. Anyway, what is CSI Vegas? Um, Peterson, God, I like him. He's one of my favorite actors. Anyway, when this all went down, he left CSI Vegas, and I can remember coming back from, without giving any more because it's just taking up a time. I wanted to put it on there because I want you to know how the press has covered up all these murders. They're having a streak of them on putting them up and saying they're going to tell how they really happened. No, they're not. An agency did it. And it's been used to take down. My father was almost killed by a shooter in 1936. King Ferdinand was shot. There's lists of them, and lists at Redstone Arsenal. And Timothy McVeigh had a chip put up his buttocks. He blew up. He was programmed. He didn't do it. The federal building in Oklahoma City, and he was put to death. So that's about all I'm going to say. I can't remember Peterson's name off of CSI, but something of mine was stolen, and off the bus on my way out to LA at that point back then during the Peterson. I even went to Modesto, and it's unreal how the cover-up is of all this. But Peterson, well, first of all, my glasses and stuff, somebody had to know where it was on the bus and in my stuff to get it out that easy. I got off the bus and back on. And they took him, he looked like Matthew, Martin Garagos' brother. He wasn't him, but he looked like him. Now then, when on the way back, the bus driver, I couldn't believe it. He looked exactly like Peterson that suddenly left CSI Vegas during the Peterson trial and right after then. And I want to put something else. He was walking, he got up and deliberately walked next to me and looked down at me as if he was coming back. I don't know. People like to tune it out and say that's flaky, it didn't happen. Yes, it is happening, and they're not going to tell the truth yet, I don't think. Now I forgot what I was going to say. That's all I'm going to say. I've put it up on YouTube and Facebook and all of it, and emailed it, and nobody's touching it. And right now they're telling all this, and they've got a whole, I think, list of them that really are the ones I told about being done in patterns. They're rural Colorado. I don't think they're doing that one, but they're using the mental health system in it. What was his name in Aurora? James Holmes. He's being treated for mental illness, and that's a total lie. That's he was programmed. That's the worst thing they could do to that young man. He's a victim himself, and that's what you can't get across to people. But anyway, I'm sitting here done in myself, and I'm going to go. I don't know if this will be allowed to go up or not, or anybody even wants to hear it, unless it happened to their children or child, or they were programmed.